Tommy John here with my 25-minute spinal hygiene series. The way I've got it set up is you guys can follow right along and do this right along with me with very minimal space needed and very minimal equipment needed. First one we're going to do is called spinal rolling. We're going to start off sitting in a chair. Okay, I think everybody can find a chair or something at the height of a chair that you can sit on. What you'll do is sitting real tall, legs wide, so your knees are wide because you're going to go in between them. You're going to tuck your chin as tight as you can. So you're going to take your neck into flexion, then you're going to round your back, pull your stomach in to push your back out that way, and then take that whole shape and drop it in between your legs as far as you can. The next part of this move is bringing your head up into extension, then bringing your upper back, mid back, low back to start again. And that's the move. It's going to look like this in full speed. And that's it. And what we're going to do is keep moving like that. What you're trying to do is start at the top of the spine, take it into forward flexion, start at the top of the spine, take it into extension, and continue to do this for 5 minutes. 5 minutes being the highest level of strength endurance to create change in the body, protecting the spine. Okay, most important structure we've got. So we are going to begin. Ready? Begin 5 minutes. Go. It's important to take each segment through its greatest range of motion. Stretching is not the key to avoiding injury. Flexibility is not the key to avoiding injury. It's strength through the greatest range of motion. Strength through the greatest range of motion. Couple moves you can do. Take your hands in between your legs and then bring them back. But it starts at the head. You start at the head, round it, round it, round it. Then you start at the head on your way back up. It's not fast, it's just full. And as you get good at it, you can up the pace a little more, but don't sacrifice range of motion for speed. You might hear and feel a couple snap, crackle, pops along the spine. It's important to know that you self-adjust all the time throughout the day. The only reason you would ever need a chiropractor is if you get chronically stuck. But movement is going to prepare the body. Movement is going to adjust the body. Movement is going to get the body to adapt to whatever you encounter, whatever force you would encounter on earth. Here we go. Already I've got sweat going. If you don't, then you've got to be pushing to a fuller range of motion. Don't worry about if your range of motion, watch this, if your range of motion is just this to start, because you're osteoporotic, things are arthritic, you're overweight, so there's a lot more mass to move around and you just haven't moved like this, that's fine. You would just start. Your back does the same movement as everybody else, just the distance covered, the range covered is not as much. So you start this, and then 3 months later, all of a sudden you're down a little further. I'm planning on this thing being done every day for the rest of your life. That's what I'm planning on. So, you gotta start somewhere. Everybody likes to focus on what the breathing is. How should I breathe? What's my breathing pattern? Honestly, I wouldn't even worry about it. You're going to figure that out as you go. Your brain knows exactly how you should be breathing. What I would say, try to keep the wind in and out of your nose. Keep your mouth shut the whole time. Nasal breathing is calming. Nasal breathing fills the bottom third of the lungs. Nasal breathing releases a substance into the blood that opens up blood vessels, allowing for more fuel to get into those muscles. So right now, fatigue setting in, where I'm feeling it, is mid to lower back and on down around my pelvis. That's okay. That's what you want. You might even feel abdominals a little bit in front front of the neck. It's okay because you're using the front part of your body to roll you down into a curve. You're using the front part of your body to really contract and bring you into that position here. Bend. And then you're using everything in the back. Don't worry about number of reps, just try to keep working for the 5 minutes. Might even feel a little bit of work and tightness in the front part of your hip. That's okay. Real important to keep the spine moving at its greatest range. Keep every segment of that spine moving. All right, that's 5 minutes of the first one, spinal rolling. Okay, so after spinal rolling, you should have a nice sweat going, heart rate's going, everything's starting to kind of move a little better and easier. So we're going to take it to another move now. Second move is called Romanian Deadlifts or RDLs. What you're going to do is, I'll show this from the side. You're going to stand in a flat shoe or bare feet. Your heels can't be elevated because of what's going to happen in the back side of your body. You're going to crawl your hands down the front of your thighs, keeping your back flat. This is the part that people cannot do. They can't keep that arch. They come down here and then lose it, and this is how everybody is. And this is just where everybody gets stuck. That's why as seniors we end up like this, okay? We don't have to be that way. So back is real tight, arched. You're going to take it back, take your hands down the front of your thighs as far as your back of your legs will allow before bending, and then back tall. So you're going to poke your butt up to the sky, literally like that. Crawling the hands down the front of the thighs, and then back up. I'll talk about pace as we get going, but we're going to do 5 minutes of this. Set your timers, ready, and begin. As far as your breath is concerned, keep the wind in and out of your nose. Don't even open your mouth. A little trick the Russian sprint coaches used to do is they'd have their athletes hold water in their mouths to force them to breathe in and out of their nose. Force them. Now, you might feel some tightness here, tightness in the low back. Low back's going to kind of get tired, fatigued, and then it's going to start to get numb. That's okay. Just lock that. Maintain that lock. Maintain that lumbar curve. Basically the opposite of what it's like being on a bike. Maintaining the lumbar curve. Not here, here. Just continuous movement. If your range of motion is here, because of injuries or obesity or osteoporotic conditions or arthritis, like I talked about before, it's okay. This is your move. All rules still apply. If you can take it down as far as you can on your legs before bending the knees or bending the back, that's great. You want to reach that greatest range of motion. I'm telling you right now, as you fatigue, you watch people do this, as they fatigue, they don't realize that this is what their backs look like. You cannot teach yourself to do this way. The whole thing is trying to learn how to stabilize your spine, allowing the hamstrings to work, which is the back of the legs and your butt. Let's do this clip for a while. Just stay at this nice moderate pace. Then I'll show you a little more advanced move once we get going. As you get good at this, and you can maintain movement for 5 minutes. I'll show you a little more advanced move for those of you progressing through this nicely. One little thing you can do to change this up, because muscles have elastic energy like rubber bands, they're going to snap back to the original position without effort on the human being. So if I just bounce down like this, I'll snap back up partially because my muscles will just restore back to length. A way to counteract that and make an exercise tougher is to stop, 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 stop. So you might already be feeling a little more work in the back there. That's okay. Alright, here's the advanced move. Now, I wouldn't do this on your first try. After you've done this maybe 40 times through, however long that takes you, probably strong enough to be able to attempt this, but what you're going to do is, you're going to increase that pause, you're going to include that pause, but what you're going to do is, you're going to take yourself down as fast as you can, stop, and then stand up as fast as you can, stop. So it's going to look something like this. Notice I'm like popping up. My hips are popping back and up. Abs are firing down. And to stop yourself, you've got to engage so much more. Like that alone just got my heart beating even more. Lungs needing more oxygen into the blood to fuel muscle. I'm telling you, don't start this advanced way until you've been able to do 5 minutes non-stop correctly for for about 40 seconds. Must maintain that flat low back. If you see any kind of rounding, don't even do it, don't even bother. Alright, it's a 5-minute clip. See you on the next one. The third exercise is called lateral bending. What you're going to do, stand up, leaning at the side, okay? Leaning at the side. A couple things to do. Take your hands, whatever side you lean to, take that hand and touch the opposite leg. A couple reasons for this. It'll keep you open. It'll keep your upper body open as you lean side to side. You don't want to collapse forward. Collapse forward. You want everything to be open and back as you go. Hands behind. Hands behind. This one's a little more delicate. You're not going to go fast on this one at all. You're just going to take it gently as far as you can, side to side. These muscles here can get irritated and they can mimic a low back condition. So you want to go real gentle and smooth into these. Here we go. Ready? Begin. Eyes always straight ahead. Your body will follow your eyes. No different than riding a horse. Breathing doesn't need to be said anymore, right? We're going in and out through the nose. Right now I can feel there's a little bit of a pull here. That's fine. I'm going right to that limit. And you'll see after 5 minutes, it'll start to open up. Pause dead middle when you stop, when you come up. Just stop, down, stop, down, stop. I know there's some people that have said you don't want your hips to lean out this way or your hips to lean out this way. Can't say I'm for either way. I just say move how you need to move and your brain will figure it out. If your range of motion is just this because of conditions, then this is what it is. But you're still going to work for 5 minutes. And then as you get good, take it to that full range. Good meaning strong. Flexibility doesn't increase motion. Strength through range of motion will allow for the greatest movement. around a joint. There's a reason I haven't stretched in 12 years and I'm not all locked up. But I train through the greatest range of motion, as do my clients. There is no stretching. Try to keep your feet flat on the ground. A tendency is going to be to let the opposite heel, the direction you move from, come off the ground. Keep it down. Reach back behind you. Try to touch as far as you can. Right now I'm about right behind my kneecap. Try to see how far down you can go. Going to my left is a little less than going to my right. An imbalance that needs to be figured out. So don't worry about it. If you've got tremendous range of motion one way, but pain this way, don't worry about it. Take the full range of motion the one way, and as far as you can go the other way. It'll even out over time. And again, we're doing this for years. This isn't a trend. You'll see, some people are like, well, do I keep my stomach tight? What should I do with my abdominals? You'll see. If you relax it and you go down, you'll get like a shearing kind of a sensation, or something will just not feel right. You'll learn to stabilize. You knew from the second you started walking around on 2 feet how to stabilize your abdominals to support your spine. It's just inborn, it's innate. We forgot how because we sit most of our days or participate in other kind of activities, quote unquote training. Your body will remember. You knew how to squat. It knows how to stand at attention. Right now I'm feeling it right above my hip on the outside. That's where my fatigue is. You might feel whole bands on both sides of your spine fatiguing. That's okay. Again, even if you're on a beginner level of this stuff, you would just do less reps in the 5 minutes, but you're still moving for 5 minutes. Feel your insides. There's like turmoil on my inside that feel almost like my stomach's being disturbed. Things are just kind of getting irritated. Point is, when you move to the fullest range, you're compressing organs and massaging organs with your movements. It's kind of the purpose of moving. You stimulate the function. You stimulate the awareness of these things on the inside of your body. It's all related to motion. You stop moving, you start dying. You're Stephen Hawking. It's 5. On to the next one. Okay, for the 4th exercise, we've got rotations. Now this one's a little tricky. What you're going to do is stand with your feet relatively close together. You're going to turn, leading with your eyes, leading with your head. You're going to turn as far as you can in one direction. Back to center, stop, turn as far as you can in the other direction. Your eyes will start the spinal rotation as far as you can go. To assist in pulling yourself around, you're going to use your arms, your hands. So you're going to turn, and you're going to pull with the opposite arm to pull you across, keeping your feet flat on the ground. That's how it's going to be. And we'll get into some more advanced parts of it as we go. 5 minutes. Ready. Begin. Slow at first. Although by this time you've got a nice sweat going. Things are starting to really fatigue. Starting to feel areas of the body that are getting awakened, that have not been used in a really long time. Feet a little closer together. keeping the feet flat on the ground. You can get dizzy, that's why it's not this. You will dizzify yourself onto the ground, okay? Turn as far as you can, back to center. As far as you can, back to center. You're going to have a tendency to want to lift your feet off the ground. Here's the more advanced part of this. Continue to move. Here's what you're going to do though. Whatever direction you go to, if I'm moving to my left, I'm going to try to squeeze my right butt, and you'll watch what happens. So here we go. This is as far as I can go to my left. If I fire my left butt, I can go that much further. It has to counter. Your glutes are going to counter that movement to that side. Same thing going to the right. This is as far as I can go. If I go left glute, I can go that much further. Now you're engaging butt during this move. And now it's, whoa, your butt's on fire through a spinal hygiene move. And glutes are one of the most important muscles of the body. Most commonly shut off and weakened because we sit on them all day long. And when there's pressure in the muscle shuts off. That's why some therapies work temporarily at relieving tight muscles, sore muscles. Wind through the nose. The person I trained the other day was trying to do this. Trying to get momentum. That's out of control. That's not a controlled movement. You want a sustained contraction to pull you into the greatest range of motion your spine can go through. I'm feeling it up in here in my neck, to be honest with you. Neck and my butt. By now, you're starting to feel the effects of 20 minutes of work, 20 minutes of sustained movement through a greatest range of motion. I can't think of one area of the body during these 5 exercises that gets to relax, that gets a break. That's why this is so valuable. Again, if your range of motion is very limited and this is all it is, then this is all it is. Don't worry about that. Doesn't mean that this exercise isn't for you. It's exercise for everyone that's on 2 feet. It's exercise for people who are in chairs. It's okay. But again, if you've got great range of motion one side and minimal to the other, go as far as you can to that one side and as far as you can to the other, and the other will catch up eventually. Contract the opposite glute of the direction you're moving. Right now I'm feeling in my hamstrings, back to the legs. Go on. Big sweat going. Let your eyes lead the movement. 5 minutes. All right, one more to go. Exercise number 5 coming up. The 5th and final exercise in the Spinal Hygiene series is called Cross Crawl Superman. It's important to get the name right because Supermans are not all created the same. Some are demonstrated with all 4 limbs raising at the same time. You absolutely don't want to do those. Cross crawl is important. Face down, grab a mat. You need something soft because your hip bones are going to get bruised if you're on a hardwood floor like this. If you're in grass, great. What you're going to do is your arms as close to your head as possible, thumbs turned up to isolate a little muscle in the shoulder that ends up getting very injured, commonly injured as we get older. So your arms are close to your head, chin is resting either on a folded towel, if you can, to restore the cervical curve. So imagine the towel's here, I'm down on this, but if you can't bring it here, fold up a towel to rest your head on it to support your spine, cervical spine. Then what you're going to do is raise the right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. Right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. The other side does not begin until the other one is set down on the ground. It's not this. They're not changing midair, okay? Cross crawl Supermans, here we go, starting for 5. Ready? Begin. Get a little more advanced on this. Your feet, notice my feet. If you can keep them pulled up towards your knees and not pointed, you always want to try to keep your feet pulled up because as we get older, we lose the strength in our legs to be able to pull our toes up, and this causes a lot of falls in the elderly. Keeping the elbows locked and the knees locked. So the raising of it is with the shoulder girdle and the hip. Muscles of the hip, mainly the glute and hamstrings. But it's training all 4 layers of muscles in the back. And what's interesting is as you raise one side, the other side has to press down into the ground. So you're getting your abdominals as well. Keeping air coming in and out of your nose. Let's go. It's important you keep moving for 5 minutes. It doesn't pay to do this as fast as you can, and then rest a little bit, and then as fast as you can, and rest a little bit. Every time, it doesn't pay to do that. What we're training are the strength endurance muscles of the spine to hold posture. They never shut off. So we want to try to move in a non-stop fashion. When you get good at this, you want to count how many you can do. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Try to work up to getting no less than 250 each side in 5 minutes. It's a shocking number because you'll try these and you'll be like, man, I'm only at 114. Yep. And as you get better at them, your strength endurance, your ability to move in a given period of time is better. Control the limbs going back down to the ground. So it's not a slam, flop, out of control move. It's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Real important you're not rotating your spine as you go. So raise higher because your ability to move through range of motion is very poor. What you want to do, just raise it as high as you can. If this is it, then this is it. I've got people that can't even raise their arms off the ground, but they can contract. Their motion, their strength is so poor for a 40, 50-year-old, somewhere in there, being fairly young. It's very alarming. You're seeing this more and more. Reason for the cross crawl pattern, it's the same pattern we learned when we were little, crawling on the ground, which eventually led to walking and then running. Neurologically, we've forgotten how to walk, and that's not a joke. In practice, I literally have seen people with motor patterns that they don't know how to walk. Their nervous systems have forgotten the cross crawl pattern, and when they get tired, it gets even worse. So we're wondering why we're injuring ourselves walking, stepping down, laying in bed, and a back goes out. We've forgotten how to walk. So basically we got to get back and get to a tummy time version of adult, relearning how to be a child again.
Now I know I've talked about 5 different moves in this series. If you are in an extreme pinch and your day was just unexpectedly out of control, busy, woke up late, kids are all over the place, boss is expecting you to do something else, and you only have 5 minutes, pick this exercise. Just this alone will take care of a whole lot of things that have gone aberrant in people, have gone wrong in people neuromuscularly. Cross-curl Supermans have saved me a time or two. I'll finish my night. I haven't worked out all day. I'll literally just finish these right before bed. Bam, that's it, 5 minutes. That's the end of 25 Minute Spinal Hygiene series by Dr. Tommy John. Thanks for joining. See you next video series.